Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Level 2 recording for Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans, August 8th, and we're on Lesson 6. So there's a few leftovers, questions from Level 1. I didn't want that upload to go too long. Some of it, Ines, first of all, makes a lovely comment about great achievers in history always said their success results in time for daydreaming. And that's what we were talking about, is the idea of having a different level of daily waking awareness at the yellow chakra level, that it might be more dreamlike and less based in the hard-edged perceptions of objective materialism if we had a healthy functioning yellow chakra, as opposed to this implanted verbalized mind that is so distractive and so much about cutting us off from our creativity and divinity. I think that's a really lovely point to make, that our true mind and our true mind state would be considered more analogous to like daydreaming or receptivity, not necessarily the productive functional cognition that is appreciated by so much in our society. Like, you work for your boss, he doesn't want you daydreaming. Like, buckle down, do your work. That's what I'm talking about. Sandy, oh, we got through that. Pedro asked, when we dream, is that a place or just imaginary? Is it meaningful? What do we do there? It depends on the type of dream you're having. Some dreams are merely swimming around in your own detritus, the debris of your day, the end result of metabolizing your thoughts. Some dreams are a visit into the astral plane. Astral means star. It means created by your mind. This is level 2 stuff. We're going to talk all about the world of mind of the stars. However, there's different levels to the astral world. There's a level that is incredibly complex and pure and sophisticated. It's like super, super. I'm going to make a note. I don't know if you can even hear that note. Let's make a lower note. You can hear that note, I'm sure. Like, it's the highest note that you can get to. But I think when most people dream, they ain't go into that super high rarefied atmosphere. I think most people are going into what I would define as the lower astral. Lower astral doesn't necessarily mean like everything that's a lower note is worse, but lower astral, like this is where all the creeps and lowlifes and losers and boogeyman hang out. That's why, and not good boogie, bad boogie. They ain't got good boogie. Yeah, the bad boogeyman hang out in the lower astral. So that's what nightmares are. So it really depends on where you're going in your particular dreaming experience. But these high up levels of the rarefied astral or purely mental realm are consensual. And so are some of the levels of the lower astral realm. When I say consensual, people are interpreting that as meaning like, yes, I agree to having sex with you. That is not what I'm saying. Consensual meaning that you both sense it. When I say consensual reality, like everybody agrees, my top is violet. This is the color. Like, we have consensual reality, we have consensus. So the astral realm is a consensus reality. Just like the physical realm is a consensus reality, but you have to have the effective tools to perceive and apprehend that realm. Just like if you come to the physical reality, but you don't have eyeballs or you don't have ear holes, then you can't hear the music and see what's going on here. And so if you came here without those senses, you'd be like, yeah, I didn't see or hear anything. There's nothing there. Like, no, there's something there, but you didn't have the eyeballs and the ear holes to hear it with. Ah, your beautiful furry overlord is here. That's wonderful. Yes, so the astral realm, this realm of pure dreaming, some people might go there without their awakened senses. They'd be like, well, I looked around, I didn't see anything. Instead of saying, well, there's nothing there, you can say that you didn't have the perceptive apparati, what you needed to be able to see and hear there. So, and it's a very, very real place. And it's a place where you can have an injury or something that happens to you that, like, it's a real place. There's consequences, what I'm trying to say. You can eat something and get nourishment there. You can have an injury and have something harmful to your body there. You can have both positive and negative experiences there. So it's a very real, by every definition of what is real, it is a real place. But it's some place that not everybody has the apparatus to go there. Not everybody has the apparatus to perceive there. And is it meaningful what we do there? Yes, that's the answer to that question. Yes, it is meaningful what you do there. But some people might be like, oh no, I had a dream that like I was having sex with my grandma. Like, that's terrible, I know. But that might just be one of those stupid dreams that's just you swimming around in the detritus of the day. That might not actually be a dream at the highest level of the astral. Like, so you got to use a lot of discernment about what you're actually experiencing. And I think that mostly what people experience at night is just house cleaning. That there's very, very few travelers that are going up to higher level stuff, even though some people do it. So try to take responsibility, but don't jump out the window if you have sex, if you dream that you're having sex with your grandma. Okay. Waxy says, does anyone have hints for getting Merkaba to happen? My visualizations seem fruitless. So Waxy, the answer might be that you might need more metabolism, metabolic energy. You might need to get more metabolism, more oomph before you're ready to do your backflips. But keep trying, keep going. And Eleanor, Ellie, practice, practice, practice. And I think that that's a very good answer, because that's like, hey man, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, you know, practice. You have an instrument, your body's your instrument, you got to practice. And Ellie says, as I prepare in visualizing and sensing, adding or opening my being to whatever senses it wants to use, I find that helpful insights, sensations, images, movements come up and make it more and more steady to build up the Merkaba. I hope that helps. Thank you for that personal sharing. And I'm very happy when students and participants can inspire one another on the journey of development. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And Justin says, Waxy, mine are kind of short-lived. I hear stuff reflecting off of it like shrapnel, but no space travel yet. Yeah, so I think that's a really good reportage. It takes a lot of concentration to uphold the Merkaba field. It's just like focusing your attention. Let's think about it as something that's an analogy, like being able to mentally visualize or auditorily visualize something. Like if I said to everyone, like everyone, I want you to start imagining or playing the first couple of notes of the song Stairway to Heaven in your own mind right now. Can you do it? You guys know that song? I ain't gonna play it for you. Listen to it in your own head. Now I want you to keep going with that for the whole entire, whatever, 7-minute long song. Like, that's a lot of mental energy. That's a lot of mental focus to sustain and be able to do that. Not everybody has that. So I think that that's what that is. That also, as you train as a musician, as you play a song more, you develop the muscles to be able to sustain that more and more. So if you all listen to that song over and over for the next 12 hours, and if you also, those who are instrumental, learned to play it on your musical instruments, and then I told you, hey, now I want you to play that entire song in your head, the entire, whatever, 5-minute long song, you'd be able to sustain it. You built those muscles. So in doing the Merkaba, if you can do it for 1 minute at a time, that's pretty darn good. And keep going, and that's how you build your muscles, by sustaining it for longer and longer. You practice more and more. Okay, good. Ines says, aren't dreams also messages from our soul? Sometimes they are. I think when we're going to the higher levels, that's when you really get dreams and clarity. But again, don't be concerned if you have an errant dream that you had sex with your grandma. That might not be a message from your soul. Sharon, how do we increase the metabolism? Sun gazing and inner silence. Sun gazing is like getting paid. Ka-ching, I just got energy from the sun. And inner silence is like not wasting money. So there's no word for like ka-ching for when you don't waste money, but like just imagine like saving money on your energy bill. It's not that sexy or great or whatever, but it's just like, oh, like my energy bill is lower than I thought it would be, or my data plan is less than I thought it would be. And that actually, that's this good segue into what we're going to talk about for level 2, which is all that solar consciousness. So increasing the metabolism, a huge part of that is sun gazing and getting energy from the sun. Oh, okay, Daniela, I will answer your question at the end of the presentation about the Merkaba. All right, very good. Thank you for understanding. Because I'm going to get into what the level 2 stuff is all about. So first of all, I've spoken a lot in this class about the breaking of the bridge, like the genetic distortions. What's going on that cuts us off from divinity. And when I say divinity, not the God of the Bible, exhaustingly, explaining myself here, but yeah, it has to be done. Divinity as being that convergence point, the convergence point, oh, breaking my thing, in the center of this sculpture. And that we had this genetic squashing that made it very challenging to be able to hear the directions from the great composer, to connect to the music, to know what is actually going on. And that genetic squashing basically changed the tuning of our body. It changed our genetic antenna. So first of all, your DNA, what's your DNA? Your DNA is more than just a descriptor or a blueprint of your physical structures of your body. It's your connection to time. It's the integument that ties you together to, what can happen in time. It's literally a vibrating string, just like a vibrating guitar or piano string. It sends out a vibration, it sends out a waveform, and your DNA is also a receiver. So here we are sending out a music, but at the same time, you can receive a music. Let me grab the guitar. Hold on a second. Let me grab this. Because that way, I can use an actual example of what is sympathetic vibration. So here's the guitar. The guitar has 6 strings. And if I pluck this string right over here, it affects all of these other strings, even though I didn't just touch them with my finger, because this string is making the atmosphere vibrate back and forth. And as it does that, those waveforms touch these guys over here, and they respond with a phenomenon that is known as sympathetic vibration. So sympathetic vibration is literally the definition of what compassion is. We are talking now about the vibrating strings of your body and the chakras and DNA of your body being affected by other beings, and those other beings affecting you. This is interdimensional ethics. My dog's playing down there. There you go. There you go. Cheeky loves to be on camera. She's like, wait. I know, children and animals. She's got to do it, guys. Here, she needs her time on camera. Maybe it'll be in the thumbnail, and then I'll get 1 million views on this video because everyone loves my dog. Sympathetic vibration. This is interdimensional ethics because I'm here as an interdimensional visitor. I came into this body. I'm not a body snatcher. I earned it fair and square. I'm allowed to be here. And I am playing my music. Let me put this down so I can kind of play some music. Here I am. My thing just turned down. Hold on a second. I am playing my music. And I know that by playing my music, I'm making my DNA do its little dance. And I'm emitting my waveforms into physicality, into the atmosphere, into other human beings and animals and organisms' consciousness. I know that I'm affecting you. And the whole idea of interdimensional ethics is that, here, come on up, girl. I know that I'm affecting you, and I know that all of you guys are affecting me. We're in a band together. Look who decided to jump up. Hey, everybody loves you. Jackie, come on up, girl. Oh, this is super. Oh my God, the boss is in town. You better work hard, everyone. The boss is here. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. And you have a huge fan club. Huge fan club online. Everybody loves you. Now she's definitely going to get 1 million views on the video. Oh, definitely. Thank you, hon. We are all affecting one another in this band. And so this goes to the teachings of level 1. When I was talking about that little cell, that's silly. So I only got to take care of myself, and recognizes that it's responsible to other cells who live in community. So if I come here and I say, hey, I only got to play my own music and I don't got to care about nobody else, that's not the right value system for the level of connectivity that we are now experiencing. Because I understand that I am flying rainbow lasagna-ing, connecting on a genetic level with many, many other beings here. And that I'm affecting others with my music, even as they are affecting me. So wait, ethics and co-responsibility. On the one hand, I'm totally responsible to myself, to my own continued existence. Hey, I gotta eat, I gotta drink, I gotta use the bathroom. These are just like the basics that I was talking about in level 1. We all have to do this. You have to advocate for yourself and for your own needs to be fulfilled so that you can continue to be a part of the organism. At the same time, you need to mitigate your own desires, because you can't just be like, I want to play loud, crashing, heavy metal music against the beat, regardless of whether other people like that. You have to mitigate your own desires, and hopefully your primary desire is to be a good musician and play with the rest of the band. So I come here and I play Flying Rainbow Lasagna. This is some weird-ass music. This is like, this is space jazz. We don't even know what this is. And I know that as I come here, I'm playing this space jazz with my DNA, and that I'm affecting other people. Just like if I pluck one guitar string, it affects the other people, the other guitar strings. And also, the other guitar strings are playing their music, and that's affecting me. So the analogy that I use, I don't have a video of it, but you might have seen this. It's metronomes, that you can have a whole giant table full of many, many metronomes. Metronomes are these little clickers that go click, 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 click. They keep time in music. And you can have many, many of them that are not synchronized. One's going really, really fast over here. One's going super super slow over here, and all of the other ones in between, and they're not synchronized. They're going at different rates. And what happens if you do this little experiment, you put all these metronomes that are not synchronized on a table together, the ones that are going super, super fast, they start to slow down because they give their energy through the common medium, the shared arena of the table, to the ones that are going slower, and the ones that are going slower start to speed up. And eventually, everybody's moving at the same speed, and everybody's synchronized. And that's human society. This is what is happening here with your thought structure. Your thoughts and what you emanate on a genetic level, you're sending stuff out to other people, and what they are sending out, you are receiving. And you are affecting one another. And this is music, and this is rapport, and this is human society, and this is living in community. And when you understand that, you recognize, A, you ain't just looking out for number one. You got to care about what you're metabolizing, what you're sending out to others, and what you're receiving from others. And that's called being in a band. And congratulations, because that means that you then get to level up and be a part of a larger, more complex organism that has greater levels of organization and superstructure. Thank you. Ines saw my pants when I got up to get my guitar, and she was just really appreciating them. Thank you so much. A beautiful compliment. I really appreciate what you wrote. Yeah, it gives me a good opportunity to say, I just designed these pants. It's from the painting that's on the wall right over there, just slightly off screen. So I was very excited to wear them today. So thank you so much for noticing my outfit today. You know, something like that is a good example. You know, if you send kind words out to someone else, it's literally an energy. You're affecting Ines just affected in my music. She just sent out a beautiful song, and that came into my energy field and uplifted me and fit with my song that I was playing. It's a beautiful example. We are responsible to one another. Like on the one hand, Ines wants to live her own life and have her own food, drink, and toileting and be happy in her own body. And yet she sends out a waveform and a communication to me that has an impact on me. And it was an uplifting impact, really. So this is what it is. You're an individual cell, and you want to stay alive, and you want to have your own good stuff and feed your own appetites. And also, we are all affecting one another. So I come here into this world as Aurora, into a human body, and I recognize that I have my own agenda. My agenda is to share this concept of flying rainbow lasagna with the world. And you know, the methodology or the medium through which I chose to do that is through artwork. Through visual arts and sculpture and animation, and of course now through auditory arts and singing as well. My personal agenda. And I recognize that I'm affecting the other people that are here on earth in the band. And that's allowed. Like I'm trying to say, it's not evil or wrong or bad to have a personal agenda. It can be something that is neutral to positive. Like there's nothing wrong with me saying like, yeah, I want to tell everybody in the whole world all about flying rainbow lasagna. It's why I'm here. And I use that as my own personal example with the understanding that I'm sure each one of you has your own personal agenda. The thing that you are here to do, whatever it is, and you might still be exploring that or defining that for yourself. You don't have to know, you don't have to know everything at the beginning of a painting. But I really do believe that each one of us has our own personal agenda, and it is appropriate and right. It's your own personal musical score that you are supposed to be playing as you participate in the band here. So there's nothing wrong with having your personal agenda. But being a good musician means, oh, thank you, Danielle. I'm sorry that I was going to answer your question at the end. You catch the recording so I can answer you. Thank you for understanding. You need to also mitigate your personal desires and your personal self-expression with the rest of the world. So my example would be, I have my own art studio. I make my own paintings. I'm free to do whatever I want on my own painting. But I don't take a can of spray paint and go out to a museum and like spray paint on top of other people's paintings that are already in the museum or something like that. Like that would not be appropriate at all. So there's appropriate self-expression and inappropriate self-expression. This all has to do with us being connected nodes of consciousness on the larger stellar network. This is what the level 2 presentation is all about. The sun is not just something stupid. It's very intelligent. The sun is an intelligent neuron or a node on a much larger neurological structure, much like our brain. Humans are so small, you're not even a neuron. Planet isn't even a neuron. Planet is like a neurochemical. So the sun is like the neuron, and us, planets circulating around the sun. We're like little neurochemicals, and you're like a molecule on a neurochemical. You're like a tiny little atom, so small. I know, which can make it difficult to perceive that we're part of this larger superstructure. But that's where we get our ideas and our cognition from. The ability to think, the ability to perceive, the ability to be self-aware comes from the sun, and the sun is connected to the stars. So when I say sun and stars, just understand I'm saying the same thing. It's the stellar network. And I just got through with answering this question about the astral plane, the idea of dreaming. Where do we go when we're not in our daily waking consciousness? What are we doing there? Is it a real place? The astral realm, the very, very high dimension, low density area of perfection, is a very, very real place, and that's where the stars live. That's where they reside. That's where their level of consciousness is. And the light that stars emit, it's not just dead, stupid light. Like, oh, light comes out of my light bulb over here. This is just dead, stupid light. The light that comes from the sun is full of timelines and possibilities and probabilities. And the photons that the sun emits, they're like timeline feelers. It's like a bat with echolocation and sonar communication. This is what the sun and the stars are doing, and we are a part of that. We are not separate from that at all. This class is called Full Spectrum Humans. You are a full spectrum human. You are shaped like this because you are part of the sun and part of the stars, and you have these. You are structured like this. You have these colors, because you're part of the sun and part of the stars. Sorry, look at my little dog while I was leaning forward. She's very, very annoyed by that. The colors that we are made from our connection to the sun. And the light that is our own consciousness is a fractal, microcosmic, and refracted or split into its elements version of the light of unity consciousness that is the sun. The sun emits unity consciousness, white light, and it gets split up by our biological infrastructure, into these different layers of being, including our daily waking consciousness, where we define ourselves and we say, hey, my name is Joe Smith, and here's my coonskin cap, and this is who I am, and this is who I got to care about. We are part of a much, much larger structure that we are actually beholden to, or responsible to, what's the other word, accountable to. That it's not just your own individual desires. Can't just be like, hey, I'm a cell and I just want to eat and poop and do whatever I want because that makes you a pathogenic cell. You have to be accountable to the larger superstructure within which you reside. So part of the teaching for level 2 stuff here is the understanding of supercoiling. That is the journey of DNA. That DNA starts as a thread or a very simple structure, and as more and more energy gets added to it, it gets curled up and twisted into these more and more complex patterns that are like a crochet or like a weaving. And that as it moves through these levels of being crocheted and weaved into greater levels of structure and integrity, that it goes through certain stages that look very, very similar to this, the toroidal structure. And any place where you turn DNA into a toroidal structure, you can then also make it vibrate as a flying rainbow lasagna structure. So this is all about these ethics. I come from the stellar network. That's how I travel. I travel in a clank metal spaceship. I traveled on light from the stars through the portal of this sun and connecting to a physical body. So your body is connected to the sun. It's not just that you live on the planet and you got to eat apples or tomatoes that grow in the sun. It's not just that you need to have the sunlight fall on your skin so you get a tan. You're connected to the sun in terms of consciousness. That whole structure of your chakras and the interconnecting gears of your consciousness levels. Where does that impulse come from? I say it comes from higher dimensional, less dense realms. It comes from the sun. So that's why I teach about sun gazing. It is a literal food. And we're not supposed to have the intermediaries of eating plants or eating animals to get that food. We're supposed to get that food directly. So all of this is about reawakening our higher faculties so that you can get that food directly. This is the profound change in our levels of perception. Let me consult my notes. Okay, another big thing is, so as your DNA is supercoiling, it creates these different structures. And it's shapes. They just think in terms of shapes, but not like squares or triangles, like curvilinear shapes. And just in the same way that a key needs to fit in a lock, the key needs to be exactly the right shape so that it will fit through there. Your DNA needs to be exactly the right shape so that you can go through the portal of consciousness known as the sun and enter the stellar network. Okay? You don't travel in a clank metal spaceship. You travel on the stellar network using unconditional love, traveling on light, literally a beam of light. And the way that you get on board is by transforming on a genetic level into a particular shape. And I have this emphasized here on my notes. Your DNA needs to change shape so you can go through the portal. And it needs to change shape because it's been squashed. It deformed is a better word. Your DNA was literally, intentionally deformed thousands of years ago. And this has kept humanity kind of stuck in this little hamster wheel, unable to get places because the key does not fit in the lock. And Flying Rainbow Lasagna is one tool that I have invented that I can teach you about. Not saying it's the only way in the entire world, but let's just say this is the bucket in the mop that I invented that I'm here sharing with you, that you can reshape your DNA, that you can restructure your DNA to be able to get through this portal. So there's a lot more stuff in the level 2 recording. Like again, I do these presentations in reference to what I have recorded on Teachable. There's a lot more stuff there that I just hit the high points. I just hit the basis of what is there. So I'm a galactic walk-in. I came into this level of density, this body and this human experience here, and I did it all ethically. All the stuff that I did, it's like building a math proof. I don't come into conflict with any of the other assertions that have already been established. I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to do this. And I'm here doing my particular unusual Flying Rainbow Lasagna melody, knowing that as I send that out, I'm affecting others and humanity is affecting me. You all sing your own melodies and you all have your own genetic expression and you have your own perception, your own viewpoint, your own thought and ego structure, and that's appropriate. And what we're doing here is having a back and forth, a rapport. Well, I say it's like this. Well, you say it's like this, and we have a conversation. And that is this this experience. It's a transformative experience. So yeah, we both learn and grow from this. It's why I'm here. If I did not come here and have this experience of sharing Flying Rainbow Lasagna ideas with humanity, I would not receive that reflection of your music, of your ideas, of your viewpoint, of who you are. So you're all affecting me and I'm affecting you. And this is really the journey of healing that we're on. Instead of healing, let's say like education, learning, insight, growing. So let me go back now to questions because I never want to skip questions and make sure they got. So I got my ethics. Oh, so Flying Rainbow Lasagna is a bridge. And funny, when I wrote this note out, autocorrect changed bridge to bride, which I think is a very good reference. A bridge for DNA to reconnect to the sun and the stars. So we got artificially disconnected by deforming our DNA, disconnected from the sun and the stars. And I'm not a biblical literalist, but I know that there's all this cultural programming about the book of Revelation and the idea of Jesus returning, which I really would like to say now, it's Christ consciousness returning and the bride of Christ. Let's talk about this because I'm not big into religion, but I think the bridge turning to bride in my autocorrect is a good segue here. That we are meant to be this bride, reconnecting to the sun and the stars and the stellar network of consciousness by reshaping our DNA. So you become the bride or the person that is being married. If you're a man, you don't want to think of yourself as a bride. You become the person that is entering into this beautiful partnership by reconnecting. It's what we were always meant to be doing. So wait, now let me go back to all the different questions. Oh, and Ines, I know that you were asking about that too, that privately, the second question that you asked. Yes, I can affirm to you, it is very real. It's what happens when we connect telepathically on a bridge of love. So I'm very happy that you were able to perceive that. Okay, Daniela, you had this question way back here. Let me scroll all the way back to ask. God, sorry, I'm squinting and scrolling, making funny faces. It's all the way back here. Where is it? Sorry if I'm having problems here. Daniela asked this way over here, that, which is better? Daniela asked, which is better, to spin 2 Merkabahs in opposite directions or the individual sun and earth tetrahedron? So this Merkabah, this star tetrahedron, we're supposed to spin one of the pyramids in one direction and one in the other complementary direction. I would say it's not a question of better or worse, it's a question of what works the best. And she imagines, I think, sun and earth tetrahedrons. Some people imagine, you okay? One of the pyramids is pointing upward and connecting to the sun, and one of the pyramids is pointing downward and connecting to the earth. I think that those are both appropriate, because what I neglected to emphasize in my presentation about the stellar network is that the planets are part of that stellar network. You know, I said that the earth is very like not a neuron, but just a neurotransmitter, but the earth is connected to. So the sun is this emanator of consciousness that also affects and brings energy to our earth. And then we are connected to the sun, and we are connected to the earth. So we have all of these different, both direct and indirect connections to the stellar network. When we perform the Merkaba, and also when you do the Flying Rainbow Lasagna, it is a connection to both of these as dance partners, because what's the earth? If you connect with the earth, it's not just that you're envisioning the planet or, you know, like some kind of golden rope that connects you down to the core. It's your body. Your body is your earth, is earth. Your body is earth. Your body is made of earth. It's made of earth stuff. You could consider your body to be the analogous representation of Earth, the planet. You're like a little ambassador of Earth, or a little representative. I know my posture is terrible. It's because I'm holding on to this little girl over here. She's like, my lap is very, it's like sateen. She's going to slide off if I don't hold her. So I know I'm like in a very funny position over here. Thank you for understanding. The practice of doing the Merkaba and the practice of doing the Flying Rainbow Lasagna both involve connecting to the earthiness of your physical body and the starriness of your energy structure. And your energy structure includes your thoughts and your neurological activity. Like, what's all that stuff that zaps around your neurology and your nerves and your brain and makes you be aware? Where does the energy come from? It's not electrons flowing in a wire, even though there are electrical impulses in your body that science can measure. That's different than impulses. That's different than mind. You know, like they can't just like jumpstart your brain into being intelligent. If your body is dead, they can't just, you know, like how they can jumpstart your heart and make it pump again. They can't just jumpstart your brain. Like, where does that information, energy, idea, you know, motivation, where does that come from? It comes from the sun and the stars. So everything that we have that we use for our body to stay alive and be healthy, it's not just the molecular structure or the atoms or the elements that come from stars. It's not just the energy of warmth and nutrition. It's also literally our intellectual energy, our consciousness, our awareness comes from the stars. So we become these bridges or brides marrying together the earth and the sky. That's what we are supposed to do. Or a groom, if you are male, consider yourself a groom. That's our job. That's what we have always been here to be. Not to be disconnected from the stars in favor of being focused on our earthly experience. We are supposed to be connected to both of these things. So it's been very artificial that we haven't been able to be connected. So reconnect, remarry with your partner. So that's the answer to Daniela's question. Thank you for your understanding. Judy, thank you for being here, sis. Thanks, Aurora, for your agenda. Thank you. I'm happy that you appreciate that. She says, I feel this is a really big, making a huge difference in this time and space. Blessings and gratitude. Thank you for that. You know, that is so wonderful. That's like if you get up on a stage and you play your guitar and someone claps and it's like, woohoo, or they rock out. That is awesome. Thank you. Messages like that. Thank you so much. I see your face. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Yes, because you know something, like it's like Gatorade to keep going on the journey, to be appreciated and to find other musicians. Like, hey, I like your style, kid. Keep playing. Like, hey, thanks. Let's keep playing. And then like find other people. This is how we make a beautiful band. This is how we make a beautiful band. A beautiful band would be considered like a utopian community, a utopian existence here on Earth. So we continue. Thank you. It's lovely to connect with you. Thank you. You can tell my voice is getting tired. Sharon says, Aurora, I have to go, but thank you for the teachings. Thank you. We understand. And I also, class went a little bit late today. It's all right. We understand. Ines says, do you mean that the DNA shape can transform itself into a 5 or higher dimensional curled shape? Is there a correct connection in shape and intertwisting? Yes. The DNA shape itself can transform, when you say into a 5 higher dimensional curled shape, the DNA transforms into a flying rainbow lasagna shape. So that would be like, say that we take all of the fibers that make up a crochet or that make up a weaving, and we completely restructure those fibers. We completely redefine what their molecular structure is. We redefine how their atoms behave, make it possible to make that weaving connect with weavings from the ancient world and the future world, and create even new possible weavings spontaneously in the moment. That is what the flying rainbow lasagna, that the impact that it has on DNA. So it's not even a question of saying, like, we're going to take a thread and just develop a new crochet stitch. It's even beyond that. It is, it's not just saying, like, we're taking the regular medium of whatever we usually dance through and just dancing a new dance through that. We're restructuring the medium itself. We're redefining what the medium is itself. So really excellent question. Thank you. And I know that my answer was rather, like, abstract. I hope that the mental picture came through of what that actually is. Pedro says, let's put a Merkaba on the light we receive from the sun when we sun gaze. Yes. Thank you for your encouragement. So Pedro, we've had this conversation before. Is it possible to put a Merkaba around this? Is it possible to put a Merkaba around this? Yes, yes, yes. And the conversation went, how about individual photons? Can you put Merkabas around individual photons? The answer is yes. Like, if you are really, really good at envisioning and imagining, you can do that. That's the level of complexity of, like, being able to not only mentally play the song Stairway to Heaven in your mind, but you're hearing all of the reverb, all of the special effects, all of the every little thing that's in there, every little hiccup that's in there, you've got that mentally covered because you've got a lot of processing power. So it takes a lot of RAM or a lot of processing power to be able to put Merkabas around each individual photon. However, that's appropriate. If you can do that, that's wonderful. And the result of that, what it would be like protecting all of the different possibilities and probabilities as they are coming to us from being able to be distorted or subverted or in some way otherwise not able to be manifested and metabolized the way that they're supposed to be. Ines says, so it should help to see the animations of higher dimension shapes. Yes, I think it would help. I have several videos on supercoiling. And I also have the videos about flying rainbow lasagna. I have to see, I don't have any that actually show the DNA going around the lasagna, so I have to describe that visually. I have to describe that to you verbally. Patricia says, analogy is the language of the mystery. I use analogies a lot. It's hard to talk about a lot of these things otherwise. Ellie says, affecting other beings and one's surroundings because one emanates their song. Yes. What about FRL with another being? When telepathy is not online, how does one not intrude upon someone being integrity and FRL with it ethically? Really, really good question. So you know something? If I'm playing the drums in my garage, my neighbors can hear me. Like, even if I don't have permission to talk to them, they're like, oh God, Aurora's playing the drums, or I don't have a drum set. But that's what it would be like. I can do the FRL. Like, let's talk about evil. Evil hates my freaking guts. They're like, I hate your music, Aurora, shut up. But I ain't gonna shut up because it's just highly, highly inconvenient for evil that I'm playing this song that is about, you know, freedom and reconnection to the divine and, yes, inner transformation. Oh, they hate my music. They hate my songs. They don't get to tell me to shut up. That's the whole point. Yeah. And likewise, look at me. Like, I didn't say to them, like, hey, no, you shut up. No, the truth is they can play their sad, lame, pathetic, horrible music, but they can't play it amplified. That's the whole point of the structure of the cosmos. That really good music is meant to be long-lasting waveforms that are very, very loud and they continue. Like a highly trained opera singer that can really sing and sing, and it's going on for like 10 minutes, still singing, still going, and that those waveforms continue onward. As opposed to a really, really crappy singer that needs an artificial microphone to stand in front of that then amplifies their voice and makes it send outward. So those evil beings that hate me and hate lasagna and want it to not happen, if they are not augmented, if they're not amplified by some kind of a, you know, artificial technological thing, they're not loud, they're not powerful, you can't hear them. That's the whole point, that they've been using technology to artificially amplify and empower themselves. So as soon as you turn down the amplifiers, they are no longer relevant. So that's what this whole challenge has been about, getting rid of or subverting the synthetic telepathy that they've been using. So it is ethical for me to be here and flying rainbow lasagna as loud as I completely want to, in the middle of the night, flying rainbow lasagna, and those evil ones are like, oh no, she's flying rainbow lasagna, and we hate her. And they try to stop me all the time, and I don't let them stop me. So it is appropriate for you to do your, the ethics of what I do, because they're like, get off our planet, stop flying rainbow lasagna. And I'm like, I'm just here doing my personal self-expression. I'm just here making my paintings. I'm just here making my music. I'm just here. It's not like I'm here singing against someone. It's not like I'm here doing artwork against someone. There are very crucial distinctions to make, because if I came here with some kind of a weapon where I said, I want to do this against someone else and I want to kill, mutilate, and destroy, that would then open me up cosmically, ethically, to someone else being allowed to try to kill, mutilate, and destroy me. I didn't come here with those intentions. I hope those keywords do not harm me algorithmically. I came here with the intention for self-expression, to be able to share my ideas, and my ideas are loud, and my voice is loud because my ideas are well structured. So it's not intrusive for you to do your flying rainbow lasagna. If you want to flying rainbow lasagna with someone who is diseased or screwed up in some way, that's also not intrusive, but you have to understand that you're working on a higher dimensional level, your personal agenda becomes deprioritized. So this is another big thing, because people sometimes have asked me, well, Aurora, like, if you're so flying rainbow lasagna, like, how come your life isn't perfect and you don't ride around in a limousine and blah, blah, blah? It's like, because when I fly rainbow lasagna, my goals are even more lofty than looking out for number one. My goals become the entire planet. My goals become the entire stellar network. I want the entire stellar network to ride around in a freaking limousine, not just me. And I would consider it very unseemly if I'm riding around in a limousine while there's all of this suffering and iniquity going on at so many levels. So I want the entire cosmos to ride in a limousine. And that's actually a large project that takes a long time to accomplish. So I continue to paint on it every day, is my answer to snarky individuals who might ask me that. But the real, like, if you want to know, don't hold back. Don't be like, oh, I hope I don't lasagna too loud and annoy my neighbors. Lasagna as loud as you want to or need to. I do sing here in my living room. And even with my voice unamplified, my voice is very loud. And I know that my neighbors can hear me. So you know what? I try to sing good music. I try to sing on key. I try to sing things that are words that others would want to hear, uplifting things and things that are pleasant, and also at the right time of day, not 3:30 in the morning or whatever. So that's what I would say in one's own personal expression. Like, if you want to do FRL and if you want to affect someone else, you're allowed to. And you can also intend to do it in a way so that it is palatable, acceptable to them. I mean, if you look at my artistic expressions, they're also palatable. I didn't make artwork and things that are ugly or dissonant or hard to look at. Like, I make them pretty. I make them nice. I make my songs pretty and nice. I do this intentionally. I want the lasagna to taste good. How do I present myself? I'm not just a gorilla. Like I said, I don't just spray paint things on top of other people's pictures in a museum. I've actually participated here in human society. I got a driver's license and a passport and a car and all these different things you got to get in a bank account. I fit in. Got it, guys? You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm trying to say, I know I'm affecting you with flying rainbow lasagna. You guys also affected me. I had to get a driver's license. I had to do all these different things. I have to call my bank. I have to do things on the computer. Like, none of that is normal for me. That's you affecting me. So this becomes like, we make accommodations in the band. Well, okay, you can play your beat, but then I want to play this melody. But then I want to do it in this key. Well, that's okay, but then I want to sing this over here. That's all right. We'll do these things back and forth. Aw, Cheeky, I just want you to know that everyone loves you, that they love your snuggliness, that they know that your name is Snuggly Wigglebottoms, and that you have a huge fan club. Thank you. We just communicated all of that to her. Aw, she loves you so much. Patricia says the Merkaba and the FRL seem interrelated. They totally are. Thank you. They are very, very related, both with 8 points, positions, and what they accomplish. W stand in the power of my light and the power of my right, sovereignty for humanity. Beautiful. So your assessment is totally correct. The Merkaba, or the star tetrahedron, is a very essential shape. It's already in existence. It's very complementary to what I do. It's a huge part of what I do. It's like saying the paintbrush has already been invented. Totally, some other guy invented the paintbrush. Then I took that paintbrush and I applied it to my own artwork in this way. And the flying rainbow lasagna is my innovation that relates to Merkaba, but it also has its own its own unique qualities to it. So they're not interchangeable. I don't take credit for Merkaba. I teach about that. They are very complementary is a good word, like tomato and basil. They go together. They just taste really good together. I have fresh tomatoes in my garden. I can't wait. I gotta get some basil, some mozzarella. We're gonna do it. Judy says, can we affect our timelines if we do not yet have the inner vision ability to see them, to manipulate them like you do? Yes, good question. Thank you very much. You can affect them with your intention, even if you can't read music yet. Just like you can play by ear, you can sing, you can play, you can make music. Sometimes you just keep the beat. You can do that. And you can send out unspecified requests, unspecified intentions. Think of it like a rough charcoal sketch. You might not yet have the ability to do indelible ink. You might not yet know what color you're doing in your painting, but do a rough sketch. Kind of like this, kind of like this, kind of like this, and charcoal is erasable. So I would say if you don't yet have perfect vision, if you don't yet have perfect hearing in your ear holes, sometimes just keep the beat, play one note, do the basics. You can also do a skeleton framework. You can be like, I don't know exactly how this person is supposed to be shaped. I'm just going to do a stick figure. You can do simplifications of that. I want to give everyone here, remind you of, not give to you, your artistic freedom. That there is a wonderful creator and a composer that wants you to step into your own as a creator. And that the exploratory process is part of that. You don't have to know everything just in order to begin. You don't have to have perfect vision just in order to begin. Here's another big one. You don't have to have a perfect physical body just in order to begin. And as I've done this dance and this practice, my body has gotten healthier. My body has gotten better. That was one of the main stumbling blocks for me. So I will predict to all of you that as you do this dance more and more, your higher faculties come online, your senses come online. You start to see and sense and hear what's really going on. You start to feel it in your body, and your body also becomes more healthy, more mobile, or more flexible, and be able to do these things through these direct connections. So Ellie, hey there, says, how would you visualize shifting a timeline? So for me, it has to do with a bunch of different things. There's cancellation waves, like this plus this equals neutrality. That's if we don't want something to happen. And moving things around, like sometimes it's like this waveform is not supposed to be here. It is actually supposed to be over here and touch with this line that is supposed to be here. So when I directly perceive this, I perceive like lines and vectors and forces, lines, abstractions. I'm grabbing this line over here and I'm moving it over here, and then it's going to touch on here, and then this thing is falling over here, and this is going to touch on over here. It's almost like Tetris, or like some kind of very dynamic video game where I'm constantly having to move and shift things. So hard to describe with words. When you actually see it and experience it, you will totally know what I'm talking about. Miniman says, there is a special cloth that blocks all frequencies. I tried one jacket and I started smiling when wearing it. It was such a relief to feel normal. Do you recommend such clothing to wear to protect energy, body, chakras, etc.? Oh yeah, Miniman, good question. So I don't have a good supplier of this, never actually worked with it, but there's tons of EMF protective materials. Some of them have like a copper fiber woven through them or something like that. That's very effective. So it's just a bit expensive. It's why I haven't experimented with it. There's garments that are made out of this. There's hats. There's belly bands if you're pregnant. You don't want your baby to get irradiated. There's sheets and blankets. There's even a way that you can build kind of like a cocoon around your bed, maybe like a miniature Faraday cage. There's EMF protecting paint. There's all these different things that you can use. So what I've been doing as my go-to is shungite. I use shungite powder. I drink shungite. I ingest it in little bits of coconut oil and put it on my skin in a powdered form. And I feel like that helps me out a lot. So I absolutely encourage everyone to experiment with whatever you can experiment with in terms of blocking out the errant signals. The EMF crapola that is like horrible music that makes it really, really hard for you to play your beautiful music. So yeah, I would encourage everyone to do that. If there are no more questions, Jeffrey says, I jam at Tetris. I love Tetris. That's one of my favorite. I think that might date me, like make me sound old or whatever, but like, because that's an old video game, like that's a good video game though. That's really good. Oh, Judy says, what do you put on your face cream different than taking the food grade? Is it shungite? Yes. So I get this stuff. I'm not a salesman from this company at all, but I will happily send you the links. It is food grade powdered shungite. What does food grade mean? It means it does not have occlusions of minerals in it that you would not want to ingest. So some shungite, if you just get a chunk of shungite and powdered it up, it might have something in there that you don't want to eat for your body. So you want to make sure you're getting just the carbon that is edible for a human to eat. And also powdered to 20 micron, because if you eat it, it goes into your tummy. It's got like sharp edges like that, could hurt your tummy. So same thing with rubbing it on your skin. So I get this very finely milled powdered shungite that comes in these little gel caps. You can eat it if you want to like that. But what I do is I break up one gel cap and mix it in with enough face cream for a month. One gel cap for a month. Don't make a giant thick paste. I have a lovely participant in this class. I don't know if she logs in anymore, but she told me that she was being really heavy under EMF attack, feeling like she had a lot of more gel-ins. She made a thick paste out of shungite powder and covered her whole entire face, and she had a massive, massive reaction. Like I would call it an irritation, inflammation, or allergic reaction, but she was really, really uncomfortable. Don't overdo it. That ain't gonna help. Shungite is cumulative. It builds up in your body. You don't have to put a giant amount and overdose all at once. So not a thick paste. I put a tiny little 1/8 of a teaspoon in the amount of skin moisturizer for the entire month. And yeah, I put some on my face. And you know what I find? These little, I don't get more gel-ins. Like I don't get active sores, fibers coming out of them. I get these little colored dots. They're like quantum dots. They are not normal. Like no part of my body is normally cadmium red. These are not normal dots. And I would have them on my face. And I'm like, you know, this is not okay. Like it's different. If I get like a dot on my shoulder, that is very, very different than a dot on my face. So when that started to happen, I was like, okay, this is like crossing a boundary here. I put it into my face cream, and I found that where I put the powdered shungite, the colored dots went away, like they couldn't assemble themselves there. I'm like, this is good. I'm going to start putting this all over. So I do it as hand cream. Because you know something, I'm using the phone, I'm using the tablet, I'm exposing my hands, I'm touching all this stuff. I put it on my hands. I know that it's getting embedded in my fingernails and the porosity of my fingertips. I want it there. You know, I want shungite to be in my epidermis. So then I started putting it all over after a shower, and that is what I do now. So highly diluted, but frequent applications. And I have a shungite soap that I actually do sell on my Etsy shop, and I use that for my shower, for my washing of my body too, and I highly recommend that. So Judy says, taking it and wondering why through face is different than ingestion. Face is equal to body. I just put it on my face because I'm like, I'm going to draw a line. Like if I had a dot here, that wouldn't make me feel really unhappy. But if I have a red dot like right here on the front of my face, I'm like, that is like, that part of my French, that is bullshit. That is not okay. I need to get that off my face. Carla says, oh, share your link. Okay, how about I share it in the description of this video? Ellie says, regarding changing timelines, can you visualize something like moving or shifting, or do we need to use curves and lines like in your artwork? You will see it. You will know it when you see it. So this is like asking your tennis instructor, shall I hit the ball like this or shall I hit the ball like this? When that yellow ball is coming at you, you are going to take your racket and you are going to whack that ball. That is the answer. So you'll begin to see these lines of force. Sometimes it might look like a straight line. It might look like a curved line. You will be able to see the trajectory, sense it coming at you, and send it in the direction you want to send it. So it's a sensory perception. It's not an intellectual pursuit, but I love your question. Thank you very much. Ines says, zeolite and bentonite is also very helpful to extract nanoparticles and balance the inner frequency patterns. Awesome. I had not found a very good source for zeolite, but Miniman says that he has one. Also, Miniman, someone sent me a link that I need to send to you via email, and I'm going to do that. I just get, pardon me if I get communication overwhelmed, because I do get a lot of emails and messages now, and I can't always stay on top of it to answer back fast enough. My voice is very tired, so I'm going to end the recording for right now, but it's not end of all of the questions. I'll still go through the questions. Thank you so much to everyone who's been on board. And we will do more homework in the upcoming weeks, but just not yet. Thank you very much.